In this video, I'm going to teach you how to avoid using the quotient rule. Now, this is the quotient rule. This is the rule that we're taught to use in calculus if you have a function of x divided by another function of x, and you need to take the derivative with respect to x. And this is what the rule looks like. Personally, I like to avoid memorizing any more rules than I have to. And this is one rule that you can get by without memorizing. To be honest, I had to look this rule up in order to even write it down to show you what it looks like, because it's been so long since I've used it. Avoiding the quotient rule is possible by remembering what we talked about in a previous math review, that any variable or function raised to a negative power is equal to 1 over that variable or function. So when we have f of x over g of x, that means that this is equal to f of x times g of x to the negative 1. So if every time I have an f of x over g of x, I instead rewrite it as f of x times g of x to the negative 1, I'm able to move myself from a situation that would typically require the quotient rule to a situation that would require the product rule. And this way I can avoid ever using the quotient rule. It is true that you need to remember the product rule. There's no good way around that. To see how this works in practice, let's take an example problem. So if I have, let's say, x squared plus 3 over x, in calculus you would have learned to use the quotient rule. But we can also rewrite this as x squared plus 3 times x to the negative 1, and then use the product rule, which is a little bit simpler. Another example, this still works with more complicated problems, is let's say I have x cubed plus 2 divided by x plus 6 all squared. Once again, I can rewrite this in a way that would allow me to use the product rule by writing x cubed plus 2 times x plus 6 all to the negative 2. I just need to make that power in the quotient go negative, move it up top, and these two equations are the exact same. But this one lends itself to using the product rule. By following those steps, you can avoid ever using the quotient rule for this class.